So I thought I'd show you this fly. The original fly is called the VICAR, and it's basically this, but it's a silver or a gold band before the head. Now the real thing you'll notice about the VICAR is the pronounced head, which is kind of the thing that you'll see. You've probably seen some of my buzzer patterns before. The pronounced heads are a real key. I mean, a lot of people taper the body. I prefer to have a bulbous head because that's where all the action is on the real thing. So the first time this fly came to my attention, I was in a boat with a Scots boy fishing an international in Rutland, and long story short, he caught more fish than me, and the majority of the fish that he caught was on the original of this, the VICAR, which is a silver tinsel. This one, I'm just carrying a tradition that you see a lot in buzzer patterns and also crunchers, and all I've done is I've changed the dressing slightly. So you can tie the original VICAR like this, but my dressing's a traffic light one, and you'll see that it's green, but every now and again it'll catch the light, and then it'll be, if I just move that light, you can see the red coming through as well. But red and green, so it's basically a way of tying it. You can tie it, just copy this and put silver or gold in to do the originals, but this is a traffic light, so I'm just got to get a hook ready and stick that in the vise. Best sizes for this are 10s early season, so one that gets fished in Loch Leven as well, and 12s, but usually tied on a 10. So take them out of the vise and stick in a wet fly size 10. This one's a full mil comp heavy. Thread that you're choosing, this is a 1/0 thread, and the key with this fly, as with any buzzer patterns, and I keep telling people, is getting this head area so to do. And the way to do that is just take your thumb and forefinger and concentrate your efforts up towards the head or the thorax region, the head of what the fly would be in real life, and just build up a little bump. That's what I do. Gives you your bench to work from. Because this is the key bit of the fly really. Obviously there's the trigger bit in the middle, but all about the thorax of buzzers for me. So we get this bulbous before you start going at the rest of the fly. So now what we're going to do is, we've got that head created, key on this fly, key on any buzzers. We're now just got to come down and touch and turns, or relatively close touch and turns. Actually, come back up, sorry. We might as well bed this in. I usually bed it in the tail and come back up, but I want quite a skinny fly, so you can use Flexifloss. I prefer Spanflex. It's just a little bit thicker, and the bumps or the ridges or the segmentation on the fly just look a lot better with Spanflex than it does with Flexifloss. Flexifloss tends to flatten. So just pull all this tight, working down the shank to a point opposite the barb. Cut turns more, and then if you can, doesn't need to be super neat, but you're basically what try and cover up the hook shank. So in touch and turns, and leave yourself that little bit of space, tiny little bit of space there. Okay, come up and over that so that everything's smooth, and then back down. Okay, at this point, because I'm tying with something I've got to tie in, I always put a little hitch in there. I prefer to do it with my whip finishing tool. So with buzzers, a lot of people will pull this really tight so it goes really thin. That's not what you want to do here. What you're looking to do here is you're wanting a pronounced segmentation. So leave that thick. Virtually no stretching it. The best way to do that is put a turn in and then put your finger on it. So just stick it over, put a turn in, stick it over, put that turn in, keep your finger on it. So you can see I'm creating those segments here, but I'm not stretching the Spanflex. So that's me about there. I want to do a lock and turn, just to catch the Spanflexing. Couple more, and now pull this under tension and do one last look and turn. Okay. Now pull it, snip, and you get a nice clean area to work with. Okay, so the first thing we do, our underlayer, which is a red holographic, any red holographic. We've got to start name dropping brands here. Just make sure it's butted up to that last bit of flexifloss. I've mucked up there actually because we've got to put the cover on first, sorry. Mylar first, because the Mylar's going to go over the red holo. So cut your Mylar in, there's the Mylar there. I tighten on my side of the hook shank, down to the turns of the Spanflex. That's him tied in. And now in with the red holo. Again down to the Spanflex. Just make sure that you're happy. Now, we don't want a lot of this stuff. Couple of turns. Overlapping, overlapping, lock off with a thread wrap. Okay, lock off for that thread wrap there. Don't worry about anything coming out here because we've got to tidy all that head area up. So that's you got your red in place, just to make sure nothing slips. Again a hitch. And now I'm going to come over with my pearl tinsel. Okay, that's it. And lock that off. And with your scissors, trim everything nice and tidy. And again, pronounced head. Always thinking of the pronounced head on these flies on buzzer patterns. I'm just checking that's okay there, it seems to be. Big head and then tie off. I prefer to tie off in the middle. And you've got a tapering up, tapering down, so the most bulbous bits in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whip finishes. Pull that in tight. Thread under tension. Now, I'm just going to put the original fly that I showed you in a clip because I can show you this. Now, the key with this thing is some varnish. I won't use resins on this, and there's a reason for that. So if I put the varnish on there, what you have to be very careful of is if you put resin in, it'll fill those gaps. However, if you use varnish, like I'm doing here, what it'll do is it'll soak down through the floss into the thread, and you'll end up with your segmentation, which I'll show you just now. Just let's make sure that's okay there. Put that back. Just make sure you've got the head area covered. I think that looks good in camera. I'm struggling to see. I've got the light on my side. So basically once you've done that, what will happen is the varnish will soak down through the floss, like this one. So you've still got that segmentation. Okay, that's what you're looking for, that segmentation. So once this one's dry, I give it another coat, and again that varnish will soak down into the segmentation there, like that. If I just take this one out the vise, and stick this one in, you'll see what I mean. So once he's had a couple of coats of varnish, you've got that lovely segmentation at the rear, you've got the traffic light section in the middle, and you've got that bulbous head. So the key with that fly is 1 coat of varnish, let it dry, then give it another one. And that's it, the VICAR buzzer. This one is the traffic light version. I hope you enjoyed that, folks. Please subscribe to my channel.